If you are here to save more money on your grocery bills, you are in the right place because today we are sharing with you some $5 dinners that will feed an entire family.
Now, this is a tough thing to do, especially because we're in Canada and groceries here are generally more expensive than you would find in the States, but we are also deal hunters. Charlotte is exceptionally good at finding a deal. And if you also are a good deal hunter, you can make these frugal meals for your family.
If this is your first time visiting our channel, I'm Charla.
I'm Christy. We are Freezer Meals 101. We teach you how to make freezer meals. We're neighbors. We've been doing this a long time. We are pretty good at it and we know what we're talking about. So stick with us. We will show you how to make some frugal meals for $5.
And I was surprised at some of what my research uncovered about how to save money. Now, I've been on the hunt to save money for a long time because we're a family of 9. And so especially when my kids were younger, I was really intent on bringing down our grocery bill. And thanks to freezer meals, I actually was able to feed our family of 9 for around the same or a little less than what an average family of 4 spends on their groceries in our area for like a decade.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And sometimes that included like diapers and all those wipes and, you know, those
other
kinds
things you buy at the grocery store, right?
Yeah. And so I was pretty proud of that. But freezer meals had a lot to do with that because they are probably the very best way out there to save on your grocery budget. And a little bit later in this video, we're gonna be telling you about something else that might help you save on your groceries. So the first recipe that we're gonna share with you today is our Sriracha cauliflower and chickpea sheet pan dinner. This one is big on taste.
It really is. And you know, it is a vegetarian meal, but chickpeas are an excellent source of protein. They are something that you can easily put into your diet that will replace your meat protein, and it costs way less to do it. They come in a can, they are shelf stable, you can catch a deal on them and they can sit there for a while before you get around to making the meal. And beyond that, you can buy them dry and make them yourself
for even less money.
For even less money.
And we got ours in a case lot sale, which did save money, but we go through them because we have chickpeas in some of our other recipes as well. And if you're thinking this video is going to be all meatless meals, you would be wrong because we've got lots of meat stuff coming up for you. So hold on to your seats. In our sheet pan Sriracha roasted cauliflower and chickpea meal, we're going to add a head of cauliflower that's been chopped into florets into our large freezer bag. I was able to get cauliflower on sale, which is awesome. Then we're gonna add a can of chickpeas that are drained and rinsed, salt and pepper. Then in a medium-sized freezer bag, a medium size is a quart size, you're going to add some Sriracha sauce, low sodium soy sauce, maple syrup, because we're Canadian and we like to throw that in there whenever we can, just to throw a little bit of home in there. Some apple cider vinegar, ginger. Now we like to use the squeezy tube ginger because it's already minced for you and saves a bit of work but still has that great fresh taste. Sesame oil and some chopped green onions. We're gonna mix all that together, just squishing it through the bag. Remove all of the air that we can from both of our bags because when you're freezer cooking, air is the enemy. We want to stay away from the enemy because it causes our freezer burn and that would make us very sad. Then we're going to staple our bags together above the seal and freeze this. On the day you go to make it, you thaw it and you're gonna dump the cauliflower mixture onto your baking sheet. If you want, you can line it with parchment paper just to make cleanup easier. You're gonna bake it at 450 for 20 minutes and then you're going to toss it with the sauce that's in your medium-sized bag. Put it back in the oven but under broil and broil it for 6 to 7 minutes so that it crisps up. This one is restaurant quality taste. It is so good.
It is so good. I know the first time that I made it, I had another sheet pan meal that I had already taken out of the freezer because we cook like this regularly. This is how we eat pretty much every day. We take something from our freezer, we let it thaw, and then we cook it. We don't really have to think about what we're gonna make at 4 o'clock because we've already taken something out. I didn't really understand, I think, that this was a main, right. And I thought it was a side. So I had taken out, we have a cashew chicken.
Oh, that's
sheet
such a
pan
good
meal.
such a good recipe.
So good.
Oh my.
Cashews, chicken, not so frugal. They weren't gonna make it the cut into this recipe, but
delicious.
But delicious.
I'll put a video there of that.
And so I had taken that one out, but I also took this one out because I'm like, it's just vegetables. It'll be a nice side. Plus it, both had kind of Asian inspired flavors. So I thought they would go nicely together. Well, it was so much food. I had,
food for days.
There was some leftovers happening for sure. But my goodness, this was tasty. And we had just talked about how good the cashew chicken is. This is equally as good, but completely different. They went really nicely together, but it was just too much food.
So the Sriracha cauliflower chicken sheet pan meal, whoa, that's a mouthful.
You named it.
Yeah, I did. It comes in at $4.98, which works out to be $1.24 per serving. So that's 4 very generous servings.
This next recipe is an oldie but a goodie for us. It is the chicken asparagus bake. We have been making it for the entirety of our cooking career together, and I think you were making it before we ever started freezer cooking together. It has modified itself a little bit. We have modified it because we added bacon. And you're thinking, bacon, it's going to be way too expensive. We got the bacon on sale, don't worry. In a bowl or right in your freezer bag, you are going to add in some already cooked rice. White rice will really cook up in about a 1 to 4, 1 to 3 cup ratio. So if you start it with 1 cup of rice, you will end up with 3 or 4 cups depending on the rice. Here we have white rice. We've started out with probably just under a cup, and we've ended up with 2.5 cups. You can do rice math. You can Google it, and there's lots of information out there. Rice math is fun. It's kind of like onion math. What's the other? Cheese math. We do a lot of cheese math around here. Anyway, we're gonna add in a cup of cooked chicken that's been cooked and diced. So really 1 cup of chicken. Here's some chicken math for you. It's about 1 chicken breast. So a boneless, skinless chicken breast. You just need 1.
But an important part for this recipe is in order to get it in under budget, we had to use rotisserie chicken because that was the least expensive way to get this cube chicken.
Boneless, skinless chicken breast is expensive. So it is going to be cheaper to get your rotisserie chicken.
To make this even cheaper, you could buy a roasting chicken, cook it yourself, portion it out, and then it would be even less expensive than what we're sharing.
So there are even ways to save on our savings. The next ingredient actually calls for asparagus in this recipe. However, asparagus is on the pricey side. Broccoli is much more affordable. Fun fact, this recipe originally was chicken broccoli bake, but one of us, guess who, is allergic to broccoli, and it's not me. So we have been making it with asparagus ever since because we're very fancy. But today, to be frugal, we are making it with broccoli so that we can get you that great price. We're going to add in 1/2 can of cream of mushroom soup and 1/2 can of cream of chicken soup. Now, naturally, it would make sense to double this recipe so that you can use your other 1/2 of cans of your soup. We're going to add in a cup of cheddar cheese that's been shredded. Again, with the cheese math, that's about 120 grams of cheese, or let's say about 4 ounces of cheddar cheese will make 1 cup. We're going to add in some salt and pepper, and then optionally, you can add in a couple of slices of bacon that have been cooked and crumbled. And yes, that is factored into here because we found the bacon on sale. We're going to mix it all together. If it's not already in the bag, we're going to add it to the bag, get out that excess air, seal it, and freeze it. On the day of cooking, this couldn't be simpler. You are going to let it thaw. You're going to put it into a casserole dish that's been greased because the rice will get a little bit sticky on you. And you just cook it up 20 minutes at 375, and this will serve 6. So the total for this dish was $5 on the nose. Divided by 6 servings, it's actually only 82 cents per serving.
It's a very frugal dish.
Oh, the bacon was my idea. And I'm like, hey, do you know what would be really good in this is if we added bacon?
And you know what? It is.
It is.
It's a nice
Everything's
addition.
a little bit better with bacon.
Before I tell you about this next recipe, I wanted to tell you about a way that you can save even more money. And you might think I'm talking about our club, and yes, that is the best way to save money, but today we've got something else. And that is, right now we are offering a brand new thing, which is our Frugal Fall Freezer Meals Kit. And in there, you're gonna find meal plans that are frugal recipes. There's a meatless meal plan in there. There are just some straight up frugal meals, and some of those do, of course, include meat, because just as we've done today, we can show you that you can have it all and still save money. There's some tips in there. There's all kinds of things. And of course, the meal plans include your shopping lists, your prep lists, and your printable labels. So it really makes it super easy for you to save money and even to get some new meal ideas and get you out of your cooking rut. For this week only, we are sharing it at a super low price because we want you to save money, not spend a whole lot. So check that out in the link below. This next recipe that I'm sharing is kind of similar to the one that Christy shared, the chicken broccoli bake. This one is our chicken fried rice, and it's a personal favorite of mine because this was my Tante Giselle's recipe, and I ate this growing up. So for me, this is like complete childhood nostalgia. It's so good. A lot of other people who have tried this now semi-famous fried rice recipe like it too. And it's also a great one to portion out for individual meals, as is the chicken broccoli bake. You can mix them together in a large bowl instead of making it in the bag, and then portion them out into quart-sized freezer bags. So if you live on your own, or if you're looking for meals to take for lunches, these are two great options. You can also put them in the microwave safe freezer containers. You can find those in our Amazon store. The link for that is in the description below. And that enables you to just microwave this. So if you know how to work a microwave, you could do this. A lot of people make these for their elderly parents because then they're able to just reheat them. And we have both done that in the past. Again, the chicken fried rice, you're going to use cooked rice again. And if you've just made your chicken broccoli bake, you just cook up a lot more rice, and then you can use it for both recipes. You do want to allow your rice to cool before you add it into your freezer bag. You want to allow all your ingredients actually to cool before adding them into your freezer bag. Then you want to add some chicken that is cooked and diced. Again, we are using rotisserie chicken today because it is the second cheapest way. The cheapest way would be to buy a roasting chicken and cook it yourself, but we are also about saving time. So saving money and saving time. This allows us to do a little bit of both here with the rotisserie chicken. Then you would add some diced celery if you were not me and not allergic to celery. Some diced onion goes into the bag next, and some diced carrot. Then you're gonna add a jar of water chestnuts that are sliced and drained, a cup of frozen peas, some minced garlic, again we're just using it from the jar, some oyster sauce, and soy sauce. You're going to squish that all together in the bag to combine it, or mix it together in your bowl to combine it. You're gonna remove the excess air from your bag, seal it, and freeze it on the day that you go to cook this. You thaw it, and then you can heat it in the oven in a covered baking dish, or you can fry it up in a skillet or a wok. And it cooks up really quickly because everything in here is already cooked. It's a great one.
It is a great one, and it is really flavorful. You're probably giving it some side eye because you're thinking, oyster sauce, really? But It is. It doesn't taste fishy at all.
No.
It's just a tiny amount. It's just another layer of flavor.
So the chicken fried rice works out to be $5.47. Now, I know.
It's over $5.
Like, I said this is a $5 dinners video, and I meant it, and I didn't mean it like this is $5 and some, but there's gonna be a recipe coming up that's $4, and so I figured that it's gonna be 5 recipes for under $25, so they average out to less than $5 a meal. In fact, all the recipes in this video average out to $4.78 each. But this is the expensive one, coming in at $5.47, which is 91 cents a serving. So under $1 a serving, because it is 6 nice portioned servings. Now, one other tip to give you is when you are making freezer meals or cooking in general, it can save you even more money if you cook multiple recipes with similar ingredients. It can save you the most money if you double those recipes, because then you're gonna end up with more meals and be able to use more of the ingredients that you purchased. So as an example, in some of the meals we've chosen today, we've chosen multiple meals that are using the rotisserie chicken, because then you can use more of that rotisserie chicken and you're still only buying the one, but you're using all of it this way. And we have multiple recipes that call for rice, so it saves time because we're cooking all the rice up at one time, but also it saves you money because you're using more of your package that you had to pay at the outset. You had to pay for that rice, so you might as well get more use out of it. And then we've also used soy sauce in more than one recipe. Again, you might as well use more of your soy sauce container. And you'll see in a little bit here that we've used cheddar cheese in more than one recipe, because if you buy a larger block of cheese, it is generally less expensive than buying smaller blocks. And did you know that you can freeze cheese?
Yes, you can. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer on that one. If you freeze cheese, it can be crumbly when you go to use it on the day of. So you've defrosted it, it's in your fridge, you're gonna have cheese and crackers, and you go to slice your cheese, it might crumble on you. It doesn't work out as quite as nice as it would have if it was fresh. But if you are baking with your cheese and you're gonna shred it anyway, if you are making nachos, if you are going to process it in any other way except for slices, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna make a cheese roux, like a white sauce that you add cheese, a cheese sauce for your broccoli that you can't have. You can easily use that cheese. So if you get a deal on cheese, man, just buy it and freeze it.
And if you're a little bit worried about that whole, not being able to slice it, whatever thing, you can shred your cheese and you freeze it shredded, and then it's already shredded, the work is done. But if you do that, then you want to add a little bit of cornstarch in there, because that will keep it from clumping and sticking to itself. That'll make it so that you can also take just the amount you need out of the bag when you need it, and you can keep the rest frozen. So that's our little tip for cheese.
That is. It absorbs the moisture. When you buy shredded cheese in a store, it seems very loose, and everybody seems to think, oh, it's very processed. It isn't really. They use potato starch. They're doing the same thing. They're just using potato starch to keep it loose. It isn't super processed. It's just something that helps it in its packaging and helps it make it to your table without being clumpy. So we do the same thing. We just use cornstarch, and it does a really great job. This next recipe is red lentil dal. Lentils are very frugal. You will find them at your grocery store, in your pantry aisle, and they're in little bags, and they're not a whole lot of money. Fun fact, I have said this in other frugal videos, the world's lentils are grown in Canada. They are grown in other countries too, but we are one of the major exporters of lentils. Who knew? The more you know.
And you can save even more money by buying your lentils in bulk, in the bulk store or the bulk aisle.
Yes, absolutely you can. And they aren't really all that expensive to begin with, but if you are really down to the penny, that is a great way to save. This recipe is a nice one because we're going to do all the cooking up front, so it's really just a nice reheat on the day of. We're going to start out by cooking a chopped onion in some olive oil over medium heat in a pan. We're going to let that onion tenderize, and then we're going to add in some garlic and ginger. We're going to cook for another minute. We're going to add our spices. We're going to add in curry powder, ground cumin, coriander, garam masala, turmeric, and some salt. These are wonderful spices to add in. We're going to let them cook for another minute or two to blend. We're going to add in a cup of vegetable broth and mix around again, and then we can add a little bit more vegetable broth. We're going to add in our lentils and a can of diced tomatoes. We are going to simmer covered for 30 minutes, and we're going to give that a stir occasionally. Once it's cooled, we can add it into a large freezer bag. You can remove the excess air, seal, and freeze. This is an easy one to reheat on your stovetop. You could do it in a microwave. This is another one that is also good to divide out into smaller bags or smaller containers for individual servings on days that you just didn't think of what you're gonna have for lunch. Or if you're living alone or there's just two of you.
Yeah, we made it not that long ago, maybe a month or so ago, I'll put the link right there. Mm-hmm. It was a meatless meals for one video, and in that we portioned it into microwave safe containers with rice on one half and the dal on the other. You could also serve it with naan. It's just a really nice one.
The red lentil dal comes out to $4.33 to make this meal. Divided out by 4 servings, it is $1.08 per serving.
That's pretty great.
That is pretty great.
And if you add rice, it hardly ups that. So
totally, right? And you've already made some rice.
Yeah, you might as well make
a little bit more.
And did you know you can freeze rice?
Rice freezes really well.
My husband invented the name for this one, but not the recipe. And the recipe is so simple because it's 3 ingredients. Yes, that's it, 3 ingredients. And then it's done, but it's full of flavor, oddly enough. This is our kinda chili. It's not really chili, but it's kinda chili.
Kinda chili.
And so into your freezer bag, you're going to add 2 cans of kidney beans. You can go ahead and leave the juice in there. You don't need to drain them because this is sort of a chili-ish thing. So it can be saucy. Then you're gonna add in some chunky salsa. If you like things spicy, you can use a spicy or medium salsa. If you like things mild, you can use a mild salsa. This is nice and versatile. That's it for your large freezer bag. You're gonna take the air out of that and seal it. Then in a medium or quart-sized freezer bag, you're going to add your cheese. You can use a cheddar cheese, which I would recommend this time because you've purchased cheddar cheese anyway to use in that chicken broccoli bake. Or you could use a Tex-Mex blend, and then you're going to seal that bag and staple them together above the seal. On the day you go to make this, you thaw it and you can heat it in the stovetop pot, the oven, the microwave, whatever, and then you're just gonna top it with that cheese towards the end and wait for that cheese to melt and enjoy this kinda chili. This is another one that would portion out really well for individual meals. The kinda chili. I still get such a kick out of the name.
It is funny.
Anyway,
Her husband's a funny guy. He is actually quite a funny guy, and he is a good one to have around when you need a quick quip because he's got a pretty fast processor up there, and he comes up with some good ones.
So this one is $4. Yes, seriously, it's $4. Now I know it's 3 ingredients, and it's not the most gourmet thing you've ever had in your life. But because the salsa has so many chopped vegetables in it already, it doesn't really taste like you're having salsa and beans, but you are. And it's got the cheese on it, so it melts, and it's just, you could dip chips in this and have it as a dip. This is a fun one. And it's $4, which works out to $1 a serving because you're gonna get 4 servings out of this. So today we've made 24 servings for $23.78. Again, that is where we live in Canada. It might be less expensive where you are, so you might be able to shave even more money off that price. That works out to 99 cents a serving, which I think is pretty awesome.
I think that is pretty awesome.
And we are going to put a video right there of some more Frugal family freezer meals and invite you to check out the link below for our fall Frugal family freezer meals kit. That is quite
a mouthful. Again, you named it. And
I don't think it has the word family in it. I think it's Fall Frugal Freezer Meals Kit.
Fall Frugal Freezer Meals Kit.
Yeah.
Fall Frugal Freezer Meals Kit. Say that 5 times fast.
Alliteration at its finest.
You're a poet. We're so glad you joined us today. We hope that you save money. We hope that you learn something about making freezer meals, and we hope that you step out and give it a try.
Happy cooking.
Bye.